All right, let's talk about AI. It's this double-edged sword, right? On one hand, it has the potential to solve some of our biggest problems, but on the other, it brings a whole new set of risks that we're honestly just starting to get our heads around. So the big question is, how do we grab all that amazing potential without letting the dangers run wild? That's exactly what we're going to break down today. You see, when an AI system messes up, it's not like a simple computer bug. Think about it. Let's say you have a hiring AI that was trained on biased data. Well, it might start systematically throwing out applications from perfectly qualified women. That's not just a glitch. That's a massive lawsuit and a PR nightmare waiting to happen. The real trick is that these risks, they're often hiding deep inside the AI's own logic.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at why AI risk is such a unique beast. Then, we'll check out the frameworks people are building to try and tame it. After that, we'll do a deep dive into the specific threats we're up against, talk about the strategies for how to respond, and finally, we'll see how this whole thing is connected across the entire AI ecosystem.
Okay, let's kick things off with the most basic question. Why is managing AI risks so darn different from managing, say, traditional software? Well, the answer really comes down to what AI actually is.
This quote just nails it. Regular software, it just follows the instructions you give it, period. But an AI learns. It evolves all on its own. And that means it can do things you never expected, which can be great or really, really bad. It's like trying to hit a moving target that's actively learning how to dodge you. Our old risk management playbooks, they just weren't built for a world like that.
And this unpredictability, it's not just some abstract idea. It has huge real-world consequences. We're talking about AI systems making biased decisions that can literally ruin someone's day or their life. Or even worse, AI that gets intentionally poisoned by hackers to create chaos. These aren't just bugs, they can be ticking time bombs if we're not careful.
So you might be thinking, if AI is this wild, unpredictable thing, how in the world are we supposed to control it? Well, that's where new frameworks come in. Brand new rulebooks built specifically for this new reality.
And right now, there are two main approaches really leading the charge. On one hand, you've got the EU AI Act. Think of this like a building code. It's the law. It tells you exactly what you must do and what you absolutely cannot do to make sure your AI is safe. On the other hand, you have the NIST AI Risk Management Framework. This is more like an architect's guide. It's totally voluntary, and it gives you a toolkit of best practices to help you design and build a trustworthy AI system from the ground up.
And that NIST framework, it's built around this really smart four-step loop. First, you govern. That just means setting the rules of the game and figuring out who's in charge. Then you map out the entire landscape, identifying all the potential dangers. After that, you measure those risks so you can actually track them. And finally, you manage them. You take action to keep everything in check. It's a cycle, right? It's designed to keep going, adapting right alongside the AI itself.
But here's the thing. A framework is only as good as your understanding of the threats you're actually up against. And in the world of AI, some of those threats are, well, they look a lot different than anything we've seen before.
If you want to get a handle on this, a fantastic resource is the OASP Top 10 list for large language models. OASP is this awesome nonprofit that's all about making software more secure. And their list shows how hackers are taking old cybersecurity tricks and giving them a clever new twist for AI. Let's look at a few. Okay, first up, prompt injection. The easiest way to think about this is like social engineering, but for an AI. An attacker could trick a customer service chatbot into coughing up another user's private info just by asking a series of really cleverly worded questions. They're basically using the AI's own conversational ability against it to break its safety rule.
Next, we have data poisoning. See, an AI learns from the data it's trained on. So data poisoning is like feeding it a steady diet of nothing but junk food. An attacker secretly slips bad data into its training diet, and slowly but surely, the model gets sick. It starts making biased, wrong, or even dangerous decisions.
And then you have model theft. This is basically the digital version of stealing the secret blueprints for a revolutionary invention. It's not just about grabbing some code, it's about stealing the years of research, data, and money that went into building a complex AI. For a company that has bet its future on that model, a theft like this could be absolutely devastating.
This is precisely why regulators, like those in the EU, are taking a tiered approach. They get that not all AI is created equal. So something like an AI-powered social scoring system, that's unacceptable. It's flat out banned. An AI used in healthcare,
that's high risk and needs strict human oversight. A simple chatbot, limited risk. A spam filter, low risk. The rules are designed to match the potential for harm. Makes sense, right?
Okay, so we've identified the threats, we know how to classify them, but what do we actually do about them? That brings us to the playbook, the 4 key strategies for responding to AI risk.
You really got 4 main moves you can make. Sometimes you can just accept a risk, especially if the potential impact is super low. In other cases, you might avoid the risk altogether by just not using that AI system. Now, the most common strategy is to mitigate the risk. You put safeguards in place, like having a human sign off on the AI's big decisions. And finally, you can transfer the risk, maybe by getting an insurance policy. The right move always depends on the situation.
But here's the last piece of the puzzle. Managing AI risk isn't just about what happens inside your own company. You have to realize that you're part of a much bigger ecosystem, a supply chain that has its own set of potential landmines.
A really important idea here is the difference between the provider and the deployer. Think of it like a car. The car company is the provider. They're responsible for making sure the car has working brakes and airbags. But you, the driver, you're the deployer. You're responsible for driving safely and following the traffic laws. It's a partnership, and if either one of you drops the ball, things can go very wrong.
And that chain of responsibility? Whoa, it goes way deeper than you probably think. So, you trust your AI provider, right? But do you trust their cloud hosting provider? And what about the utility company that provides power to that provider's data centers? You see where this is going. A single failure anywhere in that long chain, from a data breach at a 4th party to a power outage at an nth party, can ripple all the way up and take your entire system down.
So, what's the bottom line in all of this? Managing AI risk isn't just about checking boxes on a list. It's really about building a chain of trust that runs from the person who wrote the very first line of code all the way to the end user. That is the only way we're going to unlock the incredible promise of AI and do it responsibly.
You know, we're building these incredible machines that get smarter every single day. The real question we have to ask ourselves is, are we getting any wiser? Because when it comes to the age of AI, our wisdom might just be the only thing that saves us from our own incredible creations. Thanks for tuning in.